Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to another video. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And today I'm going to be predicting the Jacksonville Jaguars 53-man roster. The deadline is tomorrow. The final cuts will be made and finalized. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, starting off with the quarterback position, I got Trevor Lawrence and CJ Beathard making the team. Only two quarterbacks. I feel like we could use that roster spot somewhere else in the roster. So Nathan Rourke, he played he did great. He did great in preseason. He made some great plays out there. I believe another team will pick him up in waivers. So unfortunately, the Jacksonville Jaguars would not be able to retain him and have him on the practice squad. But yeah, hopefully we wish him nothing but the best. But CJ Beathard, he's just your typical backup you want. A veteran in the league who could, take over the starting role if Trevor Lawrence does get hurt. And he's a mentor for Trevor Lawrence as well. The starting five for the offensive line, we got Walker Little as the left tackle, Ben Bartch left guard, Luke Fortner as the center, and then Sheriff as the right guard, and Harris, the first-round pick for the Jacksonville Jaguars, as the right tackle. It's his first year playing the right tackle position, like fully. He only played the right tackle position for one game in Oklahoma. So he is definitely going to struggle early in the season. But hopefully he could get better throughout the season. Alright, so the backup line for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got Shapley, who's coming back from his heart injury. This guy's a veteran. He's a leader for the offensive line. He could play center. He could play guard. So hopefully he's all right and he's ready to go right now. And then Cam Robinson, he's suspended for 6 to 7 games. I don't know how it works for the roster management. I don't know if he counts as a roster spot or anything like that. But Cam Robinson is the backup right now for me. And then Hodge, he got hurt. He'll be out for like 4 games, I believe. He got hurt during the Lions game. And it sucks because he was doing good on the field and he was a great energy for the guys on the field and for the fans. But he was a guy that was playing right. He could play right tackle, he could play right guard. So that versatility for the Jaguars is kind of gone now. And then we got Cole as well. For the running back position, I got Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby, Dearness Johnson. I don't have Hasty making a roster. Only have 3 running backs. Hasty had a phenomenal season last year. We didn't see him too much in the preseason, but I feel like that could be used. That roster spot could be used somewhere else, and I'll show you guys in a little bit. But Etienne, he's the star of this running back group. He's to be the guy getting most of the carries. But Tank, he's a stud as well. He's a solid all-around back. He's physical, he's fast, he's elusive. But the only thing for him is ball protection. That was my big concern for him coming out of college. And he did fumble against the Dolphins for the last preseason game. He did fumble in the red zone against the Dolphins. It was a great play by the Dolphins, but he does need to protect the football. So hopefully he has learned from that. That's why we played the preseason. And then Dearness Johnson, I feel like he's a guy, if Etienne or Tank gets hurt, he'll fill in that role like nothing. And Doug Peterson, he wants to run the football this year. He wants to rush over 1,500 yards, and I believe he could do that. And I think all these guys are going to be getting some carries every single game. And for the tight end position, Evan Ingram, he signed that big contract this offseason, and then we used the second-round pick on Strange. And then we got Prince. He was doing good early training camp, but he started fading away later. But I still have him making the roster because I do see, I do think he'll be a great tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then I got Luke Farrell making the team. They compared him to Chris Manhertz. Chris Manhertz was that blocking tight end for the Jaguars last year. Blocking, and he's going to fade out, get those easy catches and easy yardage for Trevor Lawrence. And for the receiver position, Calvin Ridley, he was an elite receiver, made a phenomenal catch at that Dolphins game. And him and Trevor Lawrence are slowly building up that chemistry up. And then Christian Kirk, man, he's kind of, being bumped down to that third receiver role. But that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing for Christian Kirk because that defense is going to be on Calvin Ridley. So this benefits Christian Kirk a lot more. And he's going to have a sneaky great season for the... I mean, he had a great season last year as well for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Zay Jones, he had a great season for the Jaguars last year. He was the main guy for Trevor Lawrence. He probably... I mean, he won't have that season this year because Calvin Ridley is here. And, you know, this is a lot of targets to be, you know, made. And I hope Trevor Lawrence just doesn't, you know, keep going to Calvin Ridley. I hope he spreads the ball out to Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Agnew. You know, I hope he does that. But Zay Jones, he should have a really good year as well. Agnew, who's that special teams guy, that gadget guy for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So you can never sleep on him. You just got to get him the football, and he can take that to the house at any moment. But for the backup receivers, we have Parker Washington. He's going to be there if Agnew gets hurt. He's going to fill in for the special teams and that gadget play type of a player. And then I have Tim Jones filling in that last role for the receiver position. But since we don't have Hasty making the team, we do have an extra position. And I'm going to use that as a receiver. But this receiver will not be dressed out for games because Parker Washington, like I said, if Agnew gets hurt, he will fill in that role. So you can't have him. You have to have him dress up. And then Tim Jones, he's a special teams guy, and he can fill in any position on that receiver lineup. So the last receiver that I would have making the roster is going to be Seth Williams. I went Seth Williams. It was really close between Harris and Cooks, but I'm going with Seth Williams because he is a talented receiver. He doesn't get that many looks. He didn't make that many catches in preseason, but when he did, it was impressive. And, you know, he's a talented receiver. I believe he does deserve to be on the NFL roster, so that's why I'm picking him for the games. He won't be dressing out. Parker Washington will and Tim Jones will because they could play special teams. And then if Agnew gets hurt, Washington could fill in that role like nothing. So Seth Williams won't be dressed out. And then for the special teams, I have Cook, the Denver Bronco guy. I don't really know his name. I'm sorry. I don't really know his long snapper's name either, but he's a cool guy. He makes plays. You know, he makes some tackles. So much respect for him. But Cook, he should make a Pro Bowl this year. He should make a Pro Bowl this year without a doubt. I don't know how he hasn't made a Pro Bowl, but this year should be the year for Cook. And then it gets a little weird right here because Fatukasi and Hamilton are both hurt. Fatukasi, I don't know the extent of his injury, but he is probably going to be out for a couple of games. But Hamilton, he got hurt off the field. I don't know how he did that, but he did, and it's unfortunate for him because the season's legit about to start, so it is what it is. He got hurt off the field. And then Roy Robertson Harris, the big body, tall, long defensive tackle. He's great for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then Trayvon Walker, who was a first overall pick, going into his second year. He has to have a big year this year to show everybody that he is special. And then Josh Allen, going on his contract year. Hopefully he makes it known to the GM, Trent Baalke, that he is worth the money. Because, man, I want Josh Allen to stay. I really do. I think everybody wants Josh Allen to stay. So hopefully he has a phenomenal year. And hopefully we're able to re-sign him, dude. Alright, for the backup D tackles, I have Smoot. Smoot is the guy. Everybody loves Smoot. He can play inside, he can play outside. And then I have Ghostis. And Ghostis, he's good. He's good. He makes plays. Ghostis makes plays. And then I have Chason coming back. I was gonna go Jordan, but I think Chason, he does get pressure. And I think he does have value a little bit because he was a former first-round pick. So I don't think he will be there in the I don't think he'll be there in the waiver wire. And then number 99, I don't know his name, but he's been making plays in preseason. He's from Arkansas, I know that for sure. But he's been making plays in the interior, so I believe he does deserve a roster spot. And then Lacey, he won't be dressing out, but he'll be a young prospect to, learn from these veteran guys. And then the linebacker, I mean, this is a no-brainer. Alua Kung and Lloyd. Alua Kung has been averaging 100 tackles a year for 2 years straight, maybe 3 years straight. I think 2 years straight though. This will be his third year if he could do it this year. So hopefully he could do it, and hopefully he can make a Pro Bowl, man. I don't know how he didn't make a Pro Bowl last year. He should have, and hopefully could make one this year. Lloyd, he struggled his rookie year. He looked like a deer in headlights. He didn't look like the Utah Lloyd we had, or we were hoping for. But this year, I think it's gonna be a different year for him. He looked great in preseason. He looked like he was confident, and he was able to, digest plays faster than he did last year. So I think Lloyd's gonna have a phenomenal year this year. Can't wait to see it. For the backup linebacker, I have these three guys. Quarterman, I was so close to not having them make the roster, but one of these guys is not gonna be dressed out. We'll go over that right now. But Quarterman, like I said, he was so close to not making the roster. I think Trent Baalke's plan was legit to have him gone, but his value to the team is too much. Too much, dude. He's great in special teams. He's a plug-and-play guy for the linebacker position. He's the hardest hitting linebacker on the team, so he has that intimidation value to him. So it's just like, I don't know, you have to keep him, and the value. If you let him go on waivers, he's not coming back at all. Another team's going to use him. He's going to be their special teams guy. He's going to be their second-string linebacker. So he has too much value. And then Chad Muma and Minter, both are second-round picks. So it's like, you can't get rid of them either, and it's just, you got to keep all of these guys. And the guy that's not going to dress out for me is going to be Chad Muma. Chad Muma to me is a little bit slow. He's decent at pass coverage. His pursuit is pretty good, but his tackling is a little bit inconsistent. I think Minter is good at blitzing. He's good at getting depth and being aware where everybody's at. So his pass coverage is good. His pursuit is good. His tackling is good. I think Minter is just that guy for the backup position. So him and Quarterman should be the backup linebackers for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Chad Muma should be the one not suited up. I got Tyson Campbell and Williams. Those are your outside corners. And then for the slot, I have Johnson. Johnson should be a no-brainer in the slot. But in my opinion, I think Johnson and Jenkins should be rotating. Jenkins should be playing in the slot sometimes, and then Johnson should be playing the strong safety position. Just keep the defense guessing. I think that'll be, I think it'll be great for the defense right there. So the backup corners, I got Junior, Chris Claybrooks, and then Basewell. Basewell struggled big time that last preseason game. He didn't look good outside or in the slot. The slot, he looked confused as hell. But outside, he struggled as well. So Basewell, he's on that edge, he's on that cliff. But do you want to risk him going into that waiver market, Because he does have potential. I think he will get better throughout the years. So, he had to risk it. He had to risk it or to keep him. And then Chris Claybrooks, I have him because he's great in the slot. He's physical. He's not scared to tackle. And I think that's what gets him in the team. He also plays special teams as well. And Trey Herndon, I don't have him making it because I just don't like him. I don't like Trey Herndon. I don't. I feel like he gives up too many easy passes. And he's just a guy that the offense always targets. And even though we'll be playing zone a lot this year, I think he just will give up too many plays. And then for the starting safeties, Cisco, Jenkins, that's a no-brainer right there. The backup safeties, Thomas and Wingard, both of these guys are phenomenal special teams players. And Wingard is a plug-and-play guy. He could play in the slot. He could play all the positions, the DB positions, except for cornerback. So Wingard's value to the team is too good as well, especially he being a motivator for the players as well. A team leader or something like that. So that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my 53-man roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you don't, let me know in the comments who you have over the players I got on there. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.